Hi, welcome back to another Mum Hack Monday. I'm Bex. If you are new to my channel, I'm mum to Finley, who's 11 months old, and I make videos about parenting, lifestyle and motherhood after infertility. So today's Mum Hack Monday video is all about wood burner hacks. When we first got our wood burner a couple of years ago, I didn't know the first thing about how to light the fires in it, what would be the best way of stacking the wood, or how to maintain it really. So I thought if any of you are thinking of buying a wood burner, or you have moved into a house and you have one and you're not sure how to use it, then this could be quite a useful video for you. So without further ado, I'll just get straight on into it. So hack number one is all about looking in your garden to see what free kindling that you can use. So any dead wood that you might have, just twigs, small branches, chop them up with some secateurs, make sure they will fit the dimensions of your wood burner, and then they will make the perfect bits of kindling for lighting your fire with. Okay, hack number two is to look around the house and see what you can use up to help get the fire going. So cardboard is great. You have to sort of use it sparingly, just because it combusts really quite fast with quite a roaring sort of flame. So you don't need much of it to get your fire going. But it burns very easily and it burns very quickly, so you need it to catch fire to the smaller bits of kindling to help your fire get going. So we use kitchen roll tubes, toilet roll tubes, and what's good about them is they are sort of roughly log sort of shaped. They're great for conducting the flames and the air through, which, as you probably know, oxygen helps to sort of get the fire going. So anything that can pass through is going to make it easier for your fire to burn faster and easier. We also use up any sort of packaging that's cardboard, and we tend to sort of fold it into sort of rough sort of tube or log shapes, and again just sort of place them in with the kindling. Hack number three is to avoid supermarket logs like the plague. They are generally soaking wet through. They are usually stored outside, and even supermarkets now have sort of covered over areas that used to be sort of the trolley bays, but to be honest, the wind just whips through them, so any rain just soaks the logs and you are wasting your money. You're essentially paying for soaking wet wood. So hack number four would be to invest in a moisture meter. A moisture meter measures how much moisture content or how much water is inside the logs, and that determines whether the wood is going to be too wet to get the fire started properly. I'll insert a link below in the description box to where you can buy a moisture meter from, and that leads me on to sort of hack number five, which is to look at your local wood suppliers. They are popping up all over the place because so many people are starting to buy wood burners. So check out where your local coal and wood merchants are. A very easy way of doing this would be to just go on your local area's Facebook page and just put a shout out and ask, and then try and get a couple of bags of kiln dried wood. That's the sort of wood that you're going to look for that's best to use, as it's the driest wood, unless you are able to sort of source well seasoned logs from somewhere else. Hack number six would be to invest in this book, the Woodfire Handbook. It is great. If you've never had a wood burner before, never grown up around them, then this is the perfect starting point. It has chapters on buying firewood, seasoning your own logs. This way you'll source your own wood and then store it for a year to dry it out, so that the following year you don't have to spend that much money on buying wood. How to store wood, how to split logs with an axe, how to set the perfect fire, which in a minute I'll go through how I sort of set my fire, how to deal with flames, smoke, embers and ash, and then cooking on your wood burner or cooking on a campfire. And to be honest, it's just the coziest book. I don't know about you, but I just find stacks of logs like that so satisfying to look at. It probably makes me sound a bit crazy, but there's nothing I love more than drinking a cup of coffee, just flicking through this sort of book. There's another book which I'm looking at getting, which is how to sort of arrange wood creatively or artistically, which sounds like a bit of a weird book, but I'll leave a link to it below just in case that is your sort of thing. Hack number 7 is about ash pans. We have the Charnwood C4, which is the country 4, and it was quite a lot of money to buy the ash pan. They are always sort of sold separately. So what I did was I had a look around, and they are essentially just a glorified little roasting tin that you can just sweep your ash into. So IKEA sell little roasting tins with a little handle that fit underneath the Charnwood C4 perfectly, just in between the legs. They are perfect, they're dead cheap as well. It's between £5 and £10. Whereas the Charnwood ash pans were at least £50 to £100, which for somewhere to store ash just seems ridiculous to me. Hack number 8 is all about the ash. In small quantities, wood ash is great for your plants. You have to look at the quantities depending on the sort of plants that you want to put it on. According to the RHS, which is the Royal Horticulture Society, you can add a small amount of wood ash to your compost heap and blend it in thoroughly. As a general guide, you shouldn't be able to identify the ash in amongst the compost. It should just be really evenly distributed. And you can spread it directly on the soil for your veg, if you grow veg. A couple of things to just be aware of if you're deciding to do this. You shouldn't ever leave the ash in the rain, so don't do this on a rainy day, as the potassium that is contained in the ash easily leaches out and the nutrients are wasted. Make sure that you're not doing this too regularly, because it changes the pH of your soil. Hack number 9 is all about how much wood to buy. If you decide that you want to buy your wood in the autumn and then to last you all the way through the winter and into the spring, we tend to buy half a ton of wood, which works out at roughly 25 netted bags, and that costs around between £50 and £60. What I would say is I wouldn't buy a large amount of wood from a supplier until you're fairly sure that the wood is good. We store our wood in lots of different places in the house. We tend to have a wood store in the front room, just so it looks sort of decorative and nice, and it's near the fire so it's easy to access. I then tend to have a spare net of wood in a little trunk that we have in the living room, which contains all things like newspaper, cardboard, kindling, and then a spare sort of net of wood. And then we have a really cheap cold frame that was just from B&Q for plants. We just use that to store wood outside, and that's an easy way of keeping your wood outside, somewhere dry and covered. Hack number 10. My final hack is how I actually set my fire. So I'm going to insert some footage just of the process of how I light my fire. We've experimented a little bit over the couple of years that I've had a wood burner, just to find the easiest, quickest way of setting the fire so that it lights really quickly and it's as maintenance free as possible. So what I like to do is take 4 pieces of newspaper and I like to scrunch them up into fairly loose balls. And then I open the top vent and the bottom vent on the wood burner, and I open those fully. And then I like to pop the scrunched newspaper balls up just into the centre area of the wood burner. If there are ashes in the bottom, I've tried to sort of put a hollow into the ashes just so there's a dip for the newspaper to go in. Then I layer up the cardboard and the pre-kindling or the twigs from the garden. I then add small pieces of kindling in a bit of a wigwam sort of shape. And then I try as I'm going along to just create a bit of a platform so that the smaller pieces of wood can go in. I tend to put one small log in and one medium-sized log. and I try to put them in a sort of diagonal shape. I then light the fire, and then it should just light really well. I let the air get to it for just a couple of seconds, and then I close the door. I leave the vents open until the fire has really got going, and then once it seems to have really caught and there doesn't seem to be any problems with it, I then close the vents. I have the top vent open about a quarter of the way, and I spin the bottom vent until it's near enough fully shut. My bonus hack is to make sure that you have arranged and set the fire ready for the next time you want to use it, so that you don't have to go through all the rigmarole of rolling the newspaper up and setting the fire. All you need to do is light it and it's ready to go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell so that you know when my next Mum Hack Monday videos go up, or for any other videos on parenting, lifestyle and motherhood after infertility. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!